This is Earth-2, a book that I didn't care about, and this is the last issue I have got of it. So now I have officially reviewed every issue of Earth-2 that I own. This one is by a completely different creative team. It's from like 3 or 4 years after the other two I reviewed. This is actually the second volume of the book, because they relaunched it, because that's what they do with failed comics. This is actually the beginning of the end of the book of Earth-2 altogether. This is the start of the final story arc, and despite Green Lanterns, the original, John Scott, my favouriteest version, except maybe Gary Gardner's, despite Green Lanterns being on the cover up front and centre, except not centre, he's not actually in the comic at all. What has happened is, Earth-2, their reality, it has been destroyed by convergences and DC rebirthed, and now it's like a void. It's like a Casper world. All the buildings and stuff are see-through, they're like Caspers, and the Flask, he looks like he got a redesign, and this is definitely better than the design he had at the start of Earth-2. But it's still not great. I miss the funny hat. And Wonder Woman, she is there, and she blames herself for everything that went wrong, and how their reality is dead now. Meanwhile, we have got some other members of the Justice Society of Superheroes. We have got Miss Vision and Supergirl. And Miss Vision, she is awful. The idea is that she's like an amalgamation of the Vision and Lois from Superman. I hate that, it's a bad idea, very asinine. Then the bum in the Orkin Girl, and they're all trying to work out what's going on with their world, and them dealing with their reality being removed is a fairly interesting story to do, and it's done quite well. Then they get attacked by Sandman from the Metallica song, but he's like a Casper, and he grabs Supergirl, and Supergirl tries to fight him. I love Sandman from the Metallica song, and it seems like they are reimagining him much in the same way that Earth-2 reimagined most of the characters, but at the very least, I love seeing him in like his classic costume. So Supergirl, she gets her arse kicked by him, and then the Flask and Wonder Woman, they show up, and they all tell each other what has just happened. And Wonder Woman, she is a total emo, blaming herself for everything. And then her and Miss Vision, they have a big argument about who is to blame for all of reality being destroyed. And then there's loads and loads of Sandmen from the Metallica songs. Like, loads of them. Like, at least 30. And they all start fighting them, and it's quite enjoyable. Nice little action scene. I've not actually read the next issue or any others, so I didn't really know what exactly Sandman from the Metallica song or all the other Sandmen are meant to be. I didn't know what's going on. I assume they're meant to be like custodians of time and space, or like protectors of oblivion or some shite. And we end with diversity in a comic's worst nightmare. A black-skinned Superman. I bet he thinks this is a bad idea. Then we got a Snickers advert on the back. Zip it, Shrimpy. Oi, Brian, have your Snickers. You turn into a right diva when you are hungry. Classic advert, that. Earth-2 was a book I didn't like. It was just an unwanted revamp of a bunch of characters people liked. With that said, this issue is a lot better than all the other stuff I read. This creative team, they're still lumbered with the bad ideas and making these characters younger, and then just the flat out inane stuff like Lois being the Vision. But but this is probably the best you can do with all those factors. It is an engaging story, and it does actually make me want to read the next part. And when you break it all down, that is exactly what a comic needs to do. A 7 thumbs up it is.